Let's get to the preview for this one. Liverpool against Manchester City. Forget who the bookies have made favourites. Liverpool are 1 point clear, LME. Who would you make as favourites going into this one with the personnel available? Knowing fine well I'm asking you this before both sides have played in Europe this week.
Yeah, this is a really good question because, well, you began this whole contextual conversation by saying how Man City's form at Anfield is not good. But then when you take into consideration who is available and who isn't for either side, but specifically Liverpool, it's very difficult for me to go against Manchester City heading into this one just because of how they're feeling right now. This is no longer just about Kevin De Bruyne or even Erling Haaland's goals. Now you have Phil Foden, who has gone from a star, young, local kid, Stockport's Iniesta, to being a legitimate, bona fide starter. Then you have Julian Alvarez and the midfielder is John Stones and Rodri. They look very complete at the moment. And then you're going up against the romanticism of Jurgen Klopp's last season in this particular fixture at Anfield. That is massive. And what they have been able to do, taking in mind all the injuries, all the absences, it's very difficult to go against the conversation, which is form, statistics, and what records have proven against the romanticism of what Liverpool can do. And then you add the fact that Man City don't do well at Anfield. This is going to be a high-scoring game, Mark Donaldson, and I think I'm going to go with a Liverpool win, actually.
Of your title rivals, Arsenal and Liverpool, who scares you the most?
Brighton. They're more title charging than Liverpool or United. Brighton, thank you very much.
None of them. Absolutely none of them. We're the boys in blue and we're coming after you, and when we go top, the City steam train is beginning to roll. He's beginning to roll, and we'll pummel Arsenal, we'll pummel Liverpool. None of them for me.
Are you in agreement?
A little bit. You know, Liverpool still worries me. We've had a long rivalry against them recently with the Klopp and Pep era. I don't think they can do it. Pep is the man. He's the man, and he will be until he leaves England.
Arsenal. They look like they're on the up and up. They're hungry because they've fallen short quite a few times. So.
Okay, well that would mean a 4 point gap at the top. A City win would mean they go to the top of the table. Obviously, Arsenal playing this weekend as well. What did we learn from the 1-1 draw back in November at the Etihad when Erling Haaland scored in the first half and Trent scored 10 minutes from time?
Well, it was the narrative of the game. Manchester City controlled the game from a possession perspective, from a XG perspective, from dominating in the midfield and providing context. But so many times we have seen a Pep Guardiola style system control the momentum, but not necessarily get the result that they want. And Liverpool are one of the best in Europe and the world to take advantage of vulnerable situations in specific moments, specifically against big teams. We have seen it historically time and time again. The question mark that I have is, how big of an issue is it going to be when you don't have your fully fit starting 11? Because Mohamed Salah will be available, obviously return to training. Will he start from the minute one? We'll have to wait and see. And also, because Jurgen Klopp has had to rely so much on youth and putting players like Joe Gomez in the midfield and trying to replicate something that you can do when you don't have a full fit squad available, then that gives me a question mark too. Man City on the other side, they know who they are exactly, and their squad is so embarrassingly deep. So I think that the lesson that we can learn is that not much separates both sides. I think the Anfield crowd, Mark, is going to be up for this one, and they could prove to be the 12th man in this game.
The only team is going to fail in the Premier League, it's us. The rest is a big success. Any team, big success. And at the end, they don't win Arsenal, they don't win Liverpool, they don't win Chelsea, they don't win everything. It's normal. City should win. That's unfair. It's difficult to handle that.
Hey, you look at the big games of late in the Premier League, the goalless draw with Manchester United, the 1-1 draw against Arsenal, very different games. United came to sit in and they got what they asked for or what they came for. The Arsenal game was much more open, so I would expect a kind of open game this weekend. And it's weird because Liverpool-Chelsea should be a big game, but the way Chelsea are right now, but look, Liverpool was 4-1 going on goodness knows how many. So it'll be exciting. Looking forward to that one. Full coverage, full preview and reaction right here on ESPN FC. Now, I was chatting to an ESPN FC colleague this morning, and I was asked the question, who do you think's in contention for Player of the Year right now? Obviously, you know Ollie Watkins well, being a Villa fan, and he's been fantastic. You've spoken about Phil Foden as well. We've had a question in from one of the viewers suggesting if Foden keeps up the form that he's in right now, should he, and maybe could he even be in contention in the Ballon d'Or discussion? What do you make of that?
Well, the Ballon d'Or discussion is about the nominees to win it, and then there's winning it, which is obviously a different conversation, especially in an era where you have the likes of Jude Bellingham and Vinicius Jr. and Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland. But Phil Foden is a tremendous talent. What a tremendous talent. And when you look at the numbers all the way from pretty much his most influential starts in 2019, 2020, when he had 23 appearances for Manchester City, you know, all the numbers have just risen. Last season, he scored 11 goals. He's already matched that this season alone. And now he's added more assists as well. And we're talking about a player that has had to wait his moment in a Manchester City lineup that includes so many stars. I think he is on the rise. He will continue to do it. England fans will hope that he will be able to be one of the key components in this summer's Euros. And there is no doubt in my mind that he can be a player that can be a finalist in a Ballon d'Or discussion, top 3, top 5. Winning it, I mean, nothing is impossible, but the talent is so deep all around.
It's always somebody different every day, but it's Phil Foden this time. What more can you say about his development as a player? Not just season by season, but it seems almost week by week something better and extra comes to his game.
Well, it's the amount of games he's playing, and always was a talent player. Now he's more mature and understands more the game, especially defensively. And, you know, play in the middle, play, you know, right, can make a movement, cut inside, at the end play in the left, always score playing in the left. So have an incredible sense of goal, close to the box, it's good mentality. And yeah, so what can I say? So he's the best player right now in the Premier League. So for the amount of things he does, it's unbelievable.
Europe, that I think it could be difficult to beat the likes of somebody like Kylian Mbappe, Jude Bellingham, Erling Haaland.
Sure.
But Phil Foden deserves to be in the conversation for the way that he's playing. What a ridiculous talent that boy is.
I know when we did our teams earlier and you put in Darwin, we had a bit of a giggle as well. Like the one thing, among many things, that impresses me the most about Darwin, he never hides. And yes, he'll get chances. And if he misses it, you know what? He's always there to get back. So are we assuming that Mohamed Salah starts wide right on Sunday? And we'll get further details from Jurgen Klopp. 2 p.m. Eastern today, 7 p.m. UK. He'll speak with the press ahead of their game in Prague tomorrow. So we'll probably know more about Mohamed Salah's availability for both the games then. But if we go Mohamed Salah on the right-hand side of a front three, I suppose we're playing Darwin through the middle and we're playing Luis Diaz on the left-hand side of the front three. Does that pick itself for Sunday?
Yeah, that would be my lineup. And then Cody Gakpo could come in later in the game, depending on the narrative and the rhythm of how it's going. Like you said, look, here's the thing about Darwin Núñez. One is the point that you made at the beginning. This man does not shy away from anything, and he will give you 100%. And that's something that Jurgen Klopp appreciates more so than anything. His off-the-ball work, by the way, he's usually the first defender for Liverpool. And that's very, very important for the Reds. Now, in terms of production, yes, obviously, most of the criticism is how raw he can be, and he doesn't necessarily score as many as he wants. But so far in the Premier League, he's got 10 goals, 7 assists, and, you know, taken in mind that he hasn't been healthy throughout the entire campaign. So I would put Mohamed Salah on the right, Lucho Diaz on the left, Darwin Núñez in the middle, and that's a very dangerous front three, a very revitalized front three for Liverpool. And I think Núñez is the kind of player that is going to absolutely love playing against Manchester City once again. He just has to be careful to not get booked too early, because that can be the Darwin Núñez Achilles heel sometimes.
February 2021 was the only time in more than 20 years that Manchester City have won at Liverpool, but it was a really good performance. A couple of goals from Gundogan, Raheem Sterling when he was at City got one, and Phil Foden did as well. So it's the usual thing. You think there's going to be goals. You think it's going to be an excellent game. I'd be very surprised if this finished goalless like the Liverpool-Man United game did, simply because City aren't going to do anything like United did when they go to Anfield, because they'll think they can get the win as well. Who's it a more important game for out of these two teams?
Oh, MD, what a question. I mean, especially this season where every single point is vital. When you look at the Premier League table and Liverpool are leading, you clearly have a very important story here. And that's the simple fact that if Liverpool win this, they'll have a 4-point cushion. That's a win and a draw. Take also into consideration they have a better goal differential. It's not a substantial one, but it's still a goal differential that's better than Manchester City's.
It's certainly looking that way. It's going to within a point of Liverpool. They've got those big games coming up against Liverpool and against Arsenal. And this is going to be a title-defining few weeks, isn't it?
It is. And I genuinely think Liverpool and Arsenal have to think that they've got to beat Manchester City. I think they have to think that way to create this monumental shift in belief that City have that they're going to win the league, that this is their time of year, that they're experienced, they've won 3 on the bounce. And I always think when we lost titles, whether it be Chelsea with Ancelotti or Will Todd scoring at Old Trafford or Overmars scoring at Old Trafford, the team that went on to win it came to Old Trafford and won. They didn't just come to Old Trafford and draw and get a point and think they did okay. They came and shocked us. And I think that's what Liverpool and Arsenal are going to have to do to take the belief away from this Pep Guardiola team.
I feel that Manchester City need to win this game, or at the very least not lose, in order to continue. Because when you look at the following fixtures for both sides, they also have some tough games to follow as well. I mean, Liverpool still have to play Manchester United at Old Trafford. I mean, yes, it's Manchester United, but you never know. They got to play Tottenham. They're going to play Aston Villa at Villa Park as well. And they have to play Arsenal. And Manchester City also have to play some tough games, including Villa and Tottenham as well. But I think because of that 4-point, and as you said earlier as well, depending how far they go into other competitions, especially Liverpool, who are still going, to win that quadruple, I think that Man City cannot afford to lose this game. Liverpool win it, my God, what a fantastic sense of impetus is that for that side with a 4-point cushion over Manchester City. It's going to be a tasty one. High-scoring game.